Some of the higher dimensional beings are aspects of you. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sylvia Solo and I help light workers and starseeds to remember who they are. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about higher dimensional beings, about multidimensionality, descension and ascension, and how it all relates and why it's important for us at those times. So, in order to come to this dimension, to come to the 3D where we all are currently interacting, we have to first descend. I don't know how much, this is something that's well known. I don't study these things from other books, but to come down to 3D, we actually first descend through different planes of existence. When we are descending, we have to disconnect from different higher aspects of ourselves. Meaning, we kind of leave, our higher self behind, our soul self in higher dimension and so on. And then when we get here, we don't have access, consciously at least, to that totality of who we are. And then when we are ascending, we are essentially retracing our footsteps, ascending the same way, the same pathway as we got into this dimension. And to ascend, actually those higher dimensional aspects of us that remained in those higher dimensions are guiding us and leading our way. This is really just a nutshell. I teach this deeper in the starseed healing, but you can really imagine when you have a space shuttle and it's returning back to the Earth. It's not a whole thing that comes back. It also has to get rid of different parts of that spaceship, and then what actually lands here back on Earth is just a small module of the whole spacecraft. And so this is the same with us. That's the way how we get here. And so now we are here in this 3D, and we are learning to again navigate and fire up those communication channels with those higher aspects of us. Because when we do, we get a different perspective on who we are, because we are able to experience ourselves as the human self in 3D. And at the same time, we are able to connect to ourselves in those higher dimensions, which gives us an entirely different perspective on what we are doing here, how we got in here, how to get out of here, and so on. And so it provides us a fuller picture and understanding of who we are. And so some of the guides and those light beings and higher dimensional beings that are guiding you are actually higher aspects of you that still simultaneously exist in those higher dimensions. Not all those beings are in aspects of you, but those, important aspects of you, there is a whole mechanism and order in which it happens. That's a different topic, but those aspects of you will be guiding you. They will. And from our human self, it may look like, oh, there is an angelic being, or there is, something else, I don't know. Well, yes, they appear to us, when we see them with our vision, with our inner eye, or actually see them, that they have those beautiful forms, but some of them are aspects of you. There is no mistake in what beings are guiding you, what beings are connected to you, including the ascended masters and so on. That's a different story. It doesn't mean that we are those ascended masters. That's a completely different story altogether. But some of those higher dimensional beings are aspects of you in higher dimensions. They exist simultaneously. And so when we do multidimensional healing, we become aware of those different aspects of us. And each of them holds specific frequency, lessons, codes, different memory, different knowing. When you put all of it together, you start to get a fuller picture. So you can imagine that you are here and you are like in one bubble, and your bubble is simultaneously connected, let's say, to a million different bubbles. And all those bubbles are really connected through channels of light and frequency. And as you come online, you enhance those channels with more and more bubbles. The information starts to flow from you towards them and from them towards you. It goes both ways. We are also helping those higher aspects of us to evolve. It's not only one-way stream. And so you are connected to a million different bubbles simultaneously. Some of those bubbles exist in different levels. This would be so-called dimensions. But all of it is you. And when you start to become aware of your multidimensionality and start working with multidimensional healing, you can send information to you in higher dimension, and that aspect of you sends information right back to you. What happens is that you are able to take that wisdom, knowledge, and bring it to your current self, to that human self here in 3D. And that knowledge, wisdom, those lessons and gifts and many other things will expand you. It expands the present moment where you are finding yourself in. It expands your reality. The more you expand, the more multidimensional you are. I mean, you've always been, but you become aware of it. And so you are growing, and as you are growing and expanding, your higher bodies, they reach further and further, and you start the process of ascending, retracing your footsteps. And so this is a very simple way of explaining this. Of course, each of those things can go much deeper, but this is what it means. This is why it's so enriching to work with our multidimensionality. And if you are not working with your multidimensionality now, at some point you will. We all will. This is where we are all headed. We all go, in the same direction. We don't take the same path. That's not necessary and not required, and it wouldn't work that way. But we are headed in the same direction. And so multidimensionality is one of those steps that will unfold for everyone at some point in one of the lifetimes. In one of those bubbles, you'll start working with it and connecting things. And why those times where we are at are so special is that there is really opening which connects us to multiple dimensions at once. So basically, now it's so much easier to become aware of those other aspects of ourselves. It's super easy now. I mean, compared, to dark ages or a couple of thousands years ago and so on, it is easier because those interdimensional and intradimensional openings are now changing everything on this planet. We can tap literally into any kind of energy and withdraw parts of our consciousness and information from there and bring it to the present moment. So now we can make much bigger leaps on our personal journeys. So the things that would normally take, a couple of, thousands of years can be done within one single lifetime. So multidimensionality is really a gift, and that's the tool where we all are headed, as I said. And the reason why I made this video is not to, give you the precise information and so on, because I don't think it's really for the wide, audience. I don't think this is for everyone because it depends where you are on your journey. The right information will always come to you at the right moment, but it's more opening up those gates within you, remembering yourself, start to become aware of those other aspects of you. And also keep in mind, not always, but sometimes, and I say frequently, when you are interacting with some higher beings, they may as well be aspects of you. And this is one of the reasons, not the only one, but one of the reasons why it's so important to stay in your sovereignty. You don't have to worship those higher aspects of you. You don't have to put them on a pedestal. You just need that cooperation. Cooperation happens when everything is in harmony with itself. When every piece of puzzle, every being knows what they are supposed to do in that much grander tapestry of the whole universe, and universes, should I say. And so, when you become aware of those other aspects of you, it starts opening up your consciousness even more. This is one of the ways out of duality, out of the conditioning of duality. Because in duality, you can only hold like two opposing, conflicting ideas or concepts. So it's like, I am here or I'm not here, right? And it seems like they can't exist simultaneously. But when you enter multidimensionality in the picture, suddenly both can be true. And millions of other options are true as well. Because it really depends from which level of consciousness, from which dimension, from which parallel reality, and so on, you look at the same thing. And if you are able to hold all those so-called paradoxes in your mind, it really expands the consciousness so much. So, in other words, it's not about finding the right answer or the wrong answer. Likely they are both true, depends how you look at it, from which level of consciousness you look at it. And so when you hold those paradoxes within you, without losing that balance and that center within you, it will expand you. And it will be easier to become aware of those multidimensional aspects of you. So this is just a short video. As I said, of course, we can go into each of those topics much deeper. And maybe, who knows, in the future I might do it also on my YouTube channel. But just like let this information activate you. What if you could be in all those bubbles at once? What would it change? Can you imagine how much wisdom, knowledge, learned, mastered lessons, activated gifts, everything, like you would have access to everything. And on that journey of ascension, that's exactly where we are headed. This is one of the ways. And so let this expand you. Contemplate this whole concept of multidimensionality. And keep in mind, when you interact with some light beings, higher dimensional beings, maybe they are aspects of you, or they are from your soul family. And so there will be some level of overlapping, maybe at a level of the oversoul, but there is some kind of overlapping. It's not coincidental in what guides and beings come to guide you. So this is just something to keep in mind. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.